Hello, good afternoon, one and all. So we'll start our today's lecture. Okay, the first of all, we'll check the connectivity. So, are you getting my voice and screen here? Please reply in the chat box. So, are you getting my voice, screen? Hello, all. So please reply in the chat box. So, are you getting my screen, voice? Okay, yes. I'm getting the reply from your side. So, we'll start our today's lecture. And before starting the lecture, just we will see what we have covered in the previous lecture, that is in the yesterday's lecture. Okay. So yesterday we have covered the lecture, that is a typical data mining system architecture. So what is that a typical data mining system architecture that we have covered yesterday? Okay. So the database, data warehouse, World Wide Web. Okay. And database of the data warehouse, knowledge base, data mining engine, okay, and pattern evaluation module, user interface. Okay, all these we have studied in the previous lecture. So in the today's lecture, we are going to see the next lecture. Just we are going to take the reference of this one. So this is the actual data mining system architecture. With the in detail we have covered in the previous lecture. You can see here the this is the typical DM system architecture, and this is about confluence of multiple disciplines. Okay, so for the data mining, we require the statistics, and again the machine learning, other disciplines, visualization, information science, and again the database technology. Okay, this total data mining is totally depend on all these aspects here. So there are total six aspects are there with respect to the confluence of multiple disciplines. Okay, that is the six aspects are nothing but statistics, machine learning, other disciplines, visualization, and information science, and the last one is the database technology here. Okay, and on what kinds of the data we are going to work here? Okay, these are the types of the data already we have studied. The once again, I will just go through this slide. So the database oriented data sets and applications. So I told you that the data sets, these data sets are already are there in online. Just we can download it and we can make the analysis. That is about the relational database, data warehouse, transactional database. Okay. So all these concepts we have studied, and advanced data sets and advanced applications. So the object relational databases and temporal databases, that is the time instance database. We can say that the temporal databases, sequence database, and again the time series databases, a spatial database, and again the spatio-temporal databases. Okay, and the text databases and multimedia databases, heterogeneous and legacy databases, data streams, and again the World Wide Web. So these are the sources of the database here. Now this is the relational database. So where we are going to store the relational database? In the table format. Okay, in the columns and again the rows. So in the column we are going to store the attributes, and again the rows we are going to consider the record. Okay, the value of the record. Okay, that is we are going to consider in the table format. So whatever the data we are going to store in the table, okay, that database is called as the relational database. Okay, So the each table contains columns and rows. So the with column as attributes and of data and rows as records here. Okay. So this is the relational database example. So this example we are going to consider it for the electronic store. Okay. Electronic store means you can consider the any TV showroom, okay, or the mobile showroom. That how we are going to maintain the database of an customer, the database of an employee, okay, the database of the items sold, purchases, okay, all the things we are going to maintain the database in the table format here. Okay, that's why it is called as the relational databases. Now here the how many databases are there total? This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total different tables are there. So the first table is about the customer, second one is the item, third one is about the employee, and again the branch, purchases, and again the items sold, and again the work set. I mean the which employee is going to work on which branch. Okay, that is called as the work set. So these are the names of the tables, and in these tables we are going to maintain the data here. Okay, into the a table format. Okay, that's why we are going to consider this is these are the examples of the relational databases here. So this is the working of the relational databases. Suppose with a relational query language. Okay, so by using the structured query language, we are going to fire the queries. And suppose I have the query like that one. How many items were sold last year? Okay, that must be able to retrieve the databases. And who has earned commissions higher than 10 percentage? What is the total sales of last month for Dell laptops? Okay, all these questions easily we can get the result for this using the SQL queries here. So that's why the relational databases are very much important for storing the into the table format here. And when data mining is applied to relational databases, we can search for a trends or a data patterns here. Okay, and relational databases are one of the most commonly available and rich information repositories, and thus are a major data form in our study. Okay. These are the data warehouses. So after having the cleanliness of the database, that cleaner data we are going to store into the data warehouse here. Okay. So this is the working of the data warehouse. So the data are organized around major subjects, for example, customer, item, supplier, and activity. Okay. And these are the data cubes are there. Okay. The data cubes are also called as the multidimensional representation of the database. Okay. With respect to the x-axis, z, and again the y. So in that way, we can store the database. We can have the different disciplines of the database, the relational database, data warehouse. Okay, all the things we have covered, and again along with the transactional database here. So you can consider the only one any transactions, and in that transaction, what is going to happen that we are able to see here. Suppose the transaction T100 is there, and that is the list of items in the transaction T100, that is I1 is there, I3 is there, I8 is there, and again I16 is there. Means in that way you are able to maintain the transactional database into the a table format here. Okay. Now the next one is that the data mining functionalities. So what are the data mining functionalities here? Now here you can see that what kinds of the patterns can be mined. Okay, what kinds of the patterns? The first of all you should understand the meaning of the pattern here. So the pattern is nothing but suppose you are going to find out the same type of the data. Okay, that is called as the pattern here. Now suppose the concept of the class description, characterization, and discrimination. So how you are going to classify it, the similar types of the database, how you are going to characterize it, and how you are going to discriminate it. Okay, with the help of the data mining of functionalities here. Now the data can be associated with classes or concepts. Okay, the classes means where we are going to find the same characteristics of the data, that all the data we are going to categorize into a single unit. Okay, that unit is called as the a class here. And if suppose we have the multiple classes, then you can read it as the classes. And each and every class is having its a unique name here. Okay, means like that. You suppose you are having the class BTech and division A and division B here. Okay, because you are going to pursue the same characteristics. You are having the common teachers. You are having the common subjects. Okay, that is why you are going to consider as the one a class here. Okay. For example, classes of items. So what are the classes of the items here? Computers or the printers. Means all the computers you can consider there is a category. Okay. And again the printers. The printers are also they are going to share the same characteristics here. Okay, appearance, weight, the working functionality, okay, the input and again the output characteristics. Okay. So these are the classes of the items and the concepts of the customer. So what are the concepts of the customers? Suppose the customers are maybe the big spenders, budget spenders. Okay, suppose the some customers are there, the earnings are more. So definitely we are going to consider as the big spenders. And again the budget spenders. Suppose the earning is very less, then we have to go for the budget spenders here. Means depending on the concept of the customers, we are going to make the classes here. Okay, so how to describe these items or a concept here? So the descriptions can be derived via a data characterization. Okay, summarizing the general characteristics of a target class of data. Means we need to summary or we need to write all the characteristics of a single class. Okay, means for example summarizing the characteristics of customers who spend more than $1000 per year. Okay, means in that way we need to find out the customers. Okay, depending on the concepts. Means for example the summarizing the characteristics of customers who spend more than 1000 per year. Means we need to find out or we need to write the characteristics of the customers if he is going to spend the 1000 or more than that per year. Okay, such customers we need to find out. And at all electronics, result can be a general profile of the customers, such as 40 to 50 years old, employed, have excellent credit ratings. Okay, it depends on our requirements. We are able to find out all these concepts or all these characteristics of the customer here. Okay. Now the data discrimination. So what is the meaning of the data discrimination? So the data comparing the target class with one or a set of comparative classes. Means whenever we are having the same characteristics at the many classes, okay, at that time no need to write the common data everywhere. So we can reduce the any characteristics whenever we require here. Okay, means for example suppose compare the general features of software products. Whole sales increased by 10% in the last year with those whose sales decreased by 30% during the same period. Okay, this is called as the data discrimination. Means we need to compare the general features of the software products. Wholesales increased by 10 percentage. Okay, the wholesale is it is there and it is increased by 10 percentage in the last year, but with whom this one? With those whose sales decreased by a 30 percentage during the same period here. Okay. Like that, we need to go for the data discrimination. And mining frequent patterns, associations, and correlations. So, what is the frequent item set? A set of items that frequently appear together in a transactional data set. For example, milk and bread. Okay, so we need to identify the such items where the frequently they are going to appear together with milk and bread. So in the morning we can have the breakfast. So at that time, suppose we are going to take the milk. Okay, there are many customers along with the milk. They can take the bread also. Okay, and a frequent subsequence. So what is the meaning of the frequent subsequence? A pattern that customers tend to purchase product A followed by a purchase of product B. Means the frequent subsequence is that, see, this is the pattern of the customers. Okay, tend to purchase product A and followed by a purchase of product B. Suppose I'm going to buy the computer, then definitely I'm going to buy the operating system also. Okay, that is the frequent subsequence. And association analysis. So what is the association analysis here? So the find the frequent patterns. The association analysis means the association is that it is the one kind of the relationship. Okay, this is one kind of the relationship. Means, for example, suppose if the cloud is there, then the rain may come. Means there is a association between cloud and rain here. Okay, means, for example, a sample analysis result and association rule. Suppose the buys X computer. Okay, the person X is going to buy the computer, then that person X is also going to buy the software here. Okay, then this is called as the association analysis. Okay, and if a customer buys a computer, there is a 50% chance that she will also buy the software. Okay, because the every customer is not going to buy the a computer as well as the software here, but there some customers are there who already they are having the software, but just they want to buy the only computer. Okay, the such customers also will need to find out here. Okay, means if a customer buys a computer, there is a 50% chance that she will buy a software. That is 1% of all of the transactions under analysis showed that computer and software are purchased together. Means the only 1% of all the transactions. Okay, under the observation, it shows that the only 1% the person or the customers who are going to buy the computer and a software. Means these types of the analysis we need to do here. Okay, then and then only we are able to apply the data mining techniques on the database here. Suppose if you are going to become the businessman after the completion of your degree, then definitely all the things we need to consider for improvement of our business here. Means what kind of the customers are there in the market. Okay, that you need to identify it. Now suppose if you are going to buy the mobile phones. Okay, and along with mobile phones we can buy the, that is the power bank also. There are many customers who buys the power bank. The such customers also we can identify it, and along with mobile you can also keep your the power banks also. Okay, means after purchasing the mobile phone from your shop, after 1 year or after 2 year, there may be the damage of the your battery or the screen guard or charger. Okay, then also along with the mobile also we have to keep the in the shop, that is the battery, and again the power bank. Okay, and a screen guard. Okay, everything we need to maintain it, then and then only your business will get the income. Okay, means like that we need to understand the situation, and you need to understand the analysis. Okay, how you are going to do the analysis of an a customer. Okay, that is very much important. Only it doesn't happen that suppose I am going to open the a mobile shop, and I will wait for the customer. Okay, if you have to show some functionality, you have to show some your greatness, then and then only the customer will come to your Shopee here. Okay, so these kinds of the analysis you can make or we can do by using the data mining techniques here. See, this is a very interesting one. Okay, a very interesting one. How to do the analysis of the data. Okay, the customer means now we are considered as the data here. Okay, now the associations rules are discarded as uninteresting if they do not satisfy both a minimum support threshold and a minimum confidence threshold. Means the association everywhere. Okay, as I told you that every person is buying the computer. Okay, there is no any necessary to buy the software also. It depends on that particular customer. So the correlation analysis, the correlation analysis, that additional analysis to find statistical correlations between associated pairs. Means what is the statistical correlation, that also we need to find out here. Okay, means see the very interesting point we are going to see here, that is how we are going to categorize the same types of the database into a single unit, that is the class, and how you are going to find out the relationship between the buying the products, for example computer and software. Okay, and what is the association, and again what is the correlation between them. Okay, means in that way we need to identify so the what kinds of the patterns can be mined here. Okay, now the classification and a prediction here. Okay, so the classification is that to the process of finding a model that describes and distinguishes the data classes or concepts for the purpose of being able to use the model to predict the class of objects whose class level is unknown here. May simply remember this one. The meaning of the classification is that where we are getting the same types of the characteristics, okay, of an object, that all the object we are going to consider in a single unit. Okay, that is called as the a classification here. Means we can assign the name to the that particular classification here. Okay. So the derived model is based on the analysis of a set of training data. So the training data is called here the data objects whose class label is known. Means already we are knowing that what kind of the objects are there. Okay, what kind of the data is there. Okay, that data is called as the training data here. Okay. See, there are the two concepts are there. One is the trained data in, and the second one is the untrained data. The trained data is nothing but whatever the objects are there, the objects are already knowing for us. Okay, and untrained data means we don't know the what kinds of the objects we are going to use for the particular analysis purpose here. Okay, so the model can be represented in classification if then rules. If then rules means suppose if cloud is there, then there may be the chances of the rain. Okay, that kind of the classification also we can do here by using the decision trees, neural networks, and again the etc. So what are the decision trees and again the neural networks? We are going to study in detail into the second and again the third chapter. Okay, we have the different types of the algorithms there. There we are going to study it. And the prediction is that the predict missing or unavailable numerical data values. Okay, very important prediction. So the prediction is that to predict the missing or unavailable numerical data values. Suppose we are having the serial database, the same types of the pattern it is there, but suppose some pattern is going to miss there, then easily you can put the any value there by understanding the pattern or the series of pattern there. Okay, means the prediction example I will give that suppose due to this pandemic situation, the government has not conducted the exams of 10th class and again the 12th class. Okay, So how they have calculated the marks here? Based on your previous result, that is the 8th, the 9th, and again the 10th result. Suppose we are having that for the 8th is the 80%, again the 9th is the 85%, and again the, okay, so how much marks you will gain for the 10th exam? So you maybe gain the marks with the 82 or the 83 or the 84, not more than the 85 like that one. Okay, some exceptional cases will be there. They will get the above 85 percentage. I mean that type of the prediction we can make it. Okay, so everywhere in the day-to-day life also, the prediction is important. Okay, the every now and then the prediction is required here. Okay, suppose we are going to, okay, uh, go to the Pune or to the Solapur, then always we are going to think that whether today's climate is good or not, whether the road is good or not, whether we'll get the more traffic on the road or not. Okay, everything we are going to think about that. That is called as the one type of the prediction we are going to make it. Okay. So these are nothing but the data mining of functionalities are there. Okay. So this is the classification and prediction. See the once again I will go through this one. So the classification is that the process of finding a model that describes and distinguishes the data classes or concepts for the purpose of being able to use the model to predict the class of objects, okay, whose class label is unknown. And the derived model is based on the analysis of a set of training data. So the data objects whose class is labeled is known, that is called as the training data here. So the model can be represented in classification. So if then rules, decision trees, and again the neural networks. And the prediction is about to predict missing or unavailable numerical data values. Okay. So these are the nothing but the data mining functionalities are there. So we'll see one example, that is it is based on the if then. Okay. So there are total three kinds of the diagrams are there. So the first of all A diagram is there, and again the B diagram is there, and again the C diagram is there. Just have a look on this one. So A and again the B and again the C here. Okay. So in the A, what is that? Suppose the age of person X, youth, and income X is high. Okay. And age of the person X is youth, and income X is low here. Okay. And age of the person X, that is the middle aged. Okay. And again the age of the X is the person is a senior here. Means what it represents here, see we have the data in front of us, and how that data we are going to classify into a different classes here. But whatever the person X is there, the person X is the same everywhere. But whatever the person X is there, that person X is going to possess the different characters here. Okay, based on that different characters we are going to make the classification here. Okay, suppose the age X, that person is the youth, and income X is high here, so that class name is X comma A. And the second one is the age of the person X is also we are going to consider as the youth, and the income is the very less here. So we are going to consider this one class X comma B here. Okay, this is the second classification. So the person X is there, and that person X income is the very less. Now the next one is the age of the person is X, and it is the middle aged. Okay, suppose the class X, it is for the X comma C, and the age X is the senior. That classification is a class X comma C here. Means you can say here the class X comma A, it represents, it is the youth and high income. The class X and B represents, it is also the youth, but the income is less. the class X, and the C is called here the middle aged. Okay, the class, the person X is there, but it is the middle aged. And again, the class X comma C is that this is also the person X, but this is the a senior person, more than the 60 years old. Okay, that is called as the middle. That is called as the a senior person. Means like that you should be able to make the analysis of the data, and you are must be able to make the classification of the database here. Okay, in that way. So this is called as the what kinds of the patterns can be mined here. Okay, this is about the diagram A here. Now you can consider the diagram B here. So what is the diagram B here? Now the first root is called as the age here. After that root age is again the income. So the income is the high, and again the low is there, and again the middle aged, and again the senior is it is there. Okay. So in that way there are we have the total C classes are there. So the total three classes are there. One is the class A, class B, and again the class C here. So what is the class A and again the class B? The class A and again the class B is the income is high, and again the income is less. And about the class C is that middle aged and again the senior. For the middle aged and again for the senior, we are going to combine the database here. Okay. So that is why the first of all we are going to consider the age is as a root, and again after that the income is another a child node here, and that child node is having the two children, class A and again the class B. The class A is represent the high income, and again the class B is the it is going to represent the low income, and again the class C is going to represent the middle aged as well as the senior. The both the values you can make the combine here. Or suppose if you don't want the combination of the middle age and again the senior, just you can go for one more class here. Instead of the class X comma senior, you can write here class X comma D here. Means this is depend on your requirement. Okay, you can make the combination, otherwise you cannot make the a combination there. Okay, means based on this data you can derive the trees here. Okay, this is called as the a tree here. Means okay, so you can see here how this database is we are going to represent with the help of the tree structure here. Very very important. So the age, income, class A, class B, and again the class C here. Okay, this is the B diagram here. Now the C diagram. So what is the C diagram here? Now the C diagram we are going to represent the functions here. Functions to the classes. So the total we are going to consider the three classes. So the class A, class B, and again the class C here. So what is the F1 and again the F2 here? So the F1 is the age, and again the F2 is the income here. Okay. So the F1 is we are going to consider as the age, and again the income we are going to consider as the second F2 function. So what is the age here? So the age we are having the for the every class we require the age of the person. Okay. For every class we require the age of the person, and again the income. So for the income, that is we are going to consider as the F2 here. Okay. Now the F1 we are going to tend to the F3, F4, and again the F5. Okay. And again the F3 also we are going to belongs to the F6, F7, and again the F8 here. Okay. And again the F2 is also we are going to tend to the F3, F4, and again the F5 here. Okay. And again the F3, F4, F5, all these three are going to tend to the F6, F7, and again the F8 here. Okay, means in that way we are going to show the functions, how the functions they are going to depend on with each other. Okay, from the age category and again the income category here. Okay, So that suppose this data we can read it like this one. Suppose the class A is there. Okay, suppose what is the class A here? So the class A is that we are having the class A is having the high income, and again that age is the youth. So we are going to consider as the youth here. Okay, again the class B is also having the youth, and again the income is the less here. Okay. And again the class C is having also the middle age, and again the senior. Okay, the everything we are going to consider in the class C here. Means in that way you must be able to represent the databases here. But this is called as the representation of the database in the various structures. Okay. So just I will give the 2 minutes for you. So just you take down these three diagrams here. The diagram A, diagram B, and again the diagram C here. So this is the very much important. Just I will give the 2 minutes for you. So have you taken the diagram here? To take the diagram, this is very much important about the data mining functionalities. Now the next functionality is that about the cluster analysis. Okay. So what is the cluster analysis that we will see here? So do you know about the cluster? What is the meaning of the cluster? Can anybody tell me what is the cluster? So always in the data communication or in the computer science, we are going to hear the word as the cluster. Yes, what is the cluster here? Suppose the meaning of the cluster is that, okay, suppose the meaning of the cluster is it is like equivalent to the class. Okay. Suppose we are having the many classes and they are going to possess the some common characteristics here. So all these classes are called as clusters of classes. The simple meaning of the cluster is that the group. Okay. So that is called as the. Because now here in front of you, you are having the multiple classes. Then how you are going to make the analysis of that multiple classes? Okay, that is called as the cluster analysis. Okay. With the collection of the districts, it is called as the one cluster. Collection of the talukas, it is called as the one cluster. Collection of the all labs, it is called as the one cluster. Collection of all the classes, it is called as the one a cluster. Okay, that is called as the. Simply you just remember the meaning of the cluster is that the group. Okay, to make the group. Okay, that is called as the a cluster. Then how we are going to apply the concept of cluster analysis in the data mining functionalities that we are going to see here. Here you can see that the cluster analysis, the class label is unknown and the group data to form new classes. Okay, means whatever the database is with us, that database we are going to make the groups here for creation of a new class here. Okay. So the clusters of objects are formed based on the principle of maximizing intra-class similarity and again the minimizing inter-class similarity. It may be if intra-class means within the class. Okay, that is the meaning of the intra-class similarity. The intra-class means it is within the class, and inter-class means it is outside of the class also. Okay, that is the inter-class. Okay. Means we need to find out the some we can make the clusters of objects are formed based on the principle of maximizing within the class and again outside the class similarity. Okay. For example, you can see this is one example. It is given that about the cluster analysis. For example, identify homogeneous subpopulations of customers. So these clusters may represent individual target groups for a marketing here. Now here you can see that whatever the dots are there, the dots are nothing but the classes, and all these classes I am going to make the one group here. So this is the one cluster here. Okay, whatever the dots are there, these dots are nothing but the classes are there. And why I'm creating this group here? Because the distance between these two classes here very less here. So that's why I can make the groups of all these classes within a single unit. So that's why I called here the cluster. This is the one cluster here, and again this is the one another cluster where all the dots are very similar, and the distance is also very less between these two classes here. Okay, and this is the second cluster, and again this is about the third cluster here. Okay, again here the distance between these two classes are the very less here, so that's why I'm able to make the third cluster here. Means in that way I can make the third cluster here. But now the remaining you can see here the remaining classes here. So the distance between two classes or many classes are the more here. You can see here this class and again this class. The too much distance is there. So I cannot create this is the one a cluster. Okay. So I cannot create the cluster here. And again these three dots you can see here. Again the distance is more and again the classes are very less here. So I cannot able to make the clusters of these three only. And here you can see here that there are the two classes are there and the distance is very less. Here also I cannot create the a cluster of these two classes only here. These are the individual you can consider, you can treat as them as individuals here, where the classes are more, where the characteristics are the similar. Okay, there is a huge population is there, then and then only I'm going to create the clusters here, otherwise not. You can treat them as a single unit or the single class here. Okay, means now after collection of all these classes, now you can go for the cluster analysis here. Okay, means in that way this is also the data mining functionality is there. Okay, this is about the cluster analysis. I just take the diagram for this cluster analysis here. Just note down your notebook here regarding cluster analysis. The cluster analysis that the class label is unknown, so the name of the class is unknown here. Now after having the collection or after having the cluster here, now you can name the cluster here. Okay, you can assign the name to the cluster. Okay, it is a group data to form new classes, and clusters of objects are formed based on the principle of maximizing intra-class similarity and minimizing interclass similarity. For example, identify homogeneous subpopulations of customers. So these clusters may represent individual or the target groups for marketing here. Means in that way, based on this database, you can you must be able to create the clusters here. Okay. You just take the data this cluster analysis diagram here. So this is very important. So we'll see the next point. Now the next point is that the outlier analysis. So what is the outlier analysis in the cluster analysis? So the outlier analysis is that the data that do not comply with the general behavior or model. Suppose you are going to create one cluster here, and suppose the individuals are there. Okay, so we cannot take the individual entities into the clusters. Okay, so all these are the called as the outlier analysis. Now here you can see that. So these are the individuals are there. Okay, so these individuals are called as the outlier analysis here. And outliers are usually discarded as noise or exceptions. Okay, so the outliers usually we are going to discard it as a noise means so the unwanted data. Okay, the noise is called as the unwanted data or exceptions, and useful for fraud detection. For example, detect purchases of extremely large amounts. Okay, and evolution analysis that describes and models regularities or trends for objects whose behavior changes over time. That is called as the evolution analysis. The evolution analysis that so it is going to describe the models regularities, okay, or the trends for such objects whose behavior is going to change over a time. This, for example, suppose identify the stock evolution regularities. Sorry for the network disconnection. So the evolution analysis. So what is the evolution analysis? So at the particular time, it is going to change the behavior over time. So for example, you can say that the identify the stock evolution regularities for overall stocks and for the stocks of particular companies. This we can observe, we can make the changes of the observations of a particular stocks, whether it is going to up and when it is going to down. Okay, that study you can make it by using the evaluation analysis. Okay, so in that way we can have the data mining of functionalities here. Okay, so we saw that very interesting points about the data mining functionalities here. Okay, the start from this, that is a concept or class description, characterization and discrimination, about meaning, frequent patterns, associations and correlations, classification and prediction. With this example we saw that. After that we saw the cluster analysis. In the cluster analysis we studied about the outlier analysis and evolution analysis. Okay, now the next point is that whether are all of the patterns interesting. Okay, now whatever the points we covered here still now, whether all the points we are going to consider it further or not. Okay, that also we can make the study here. Now the data mining may generate thousands of patterns. Okay, why it is that? Because we have the huge amount of database, so the data mining is going to generate the thousands of patterns. Okay, we cannot imagine that how much database we are going to generate in the world at every seconds. Okay, and not all of them are interesting. Okay, means whatever the required database is very less. Okay, you can see that whatever the required database, whatever the conclusion is very less. Okay, now a pattern is interesting if it is a very interesting one. If when a pattern is interesting, if it is easily understood by humans, what the user wants always, the user friendly we required. Okay, the easily we can understand that pattern, with that way we require. So that's why a pattern is interesting if it is easily understood by humans. So easily we can understand it. So that is our first motto. Valid on new or test data with some degree of certainty. It must be valid on the any type of the data. Okay, and it is potentially useful. You can make use of this useful of the usefulness of the pattern, and it must be the novel. The novel means it should have to have some new concept or the some hypothesis. The meaning of the hypothesis is that it is some a thing, or we can make the some assumption. Okay, that is called as the hypothesis. Now suppose an interesting measure represents knowledge. Is from that pattern only what we require here. That our target aim is that the only we require the knowledge here. Then and then only that pattern is interesting. Otherwise, such patterns we are going to discard it. Okay, so that is why whether we can also we can see that whether all of the patterns are interesting or not here. Okay. So the next one is that the objective measure. So what are the objective measures of these patterns? Means based on statistics and structures of patterns, for example, support, confidence, etc. Rules that do not satisfy a threshold are considered uninteresting. That the based on statistics and structures of patterns. Okay, it should support for the customer. It should increase customer. Okay, like that. So these are the called as the objective measures and the subjective measures. So what are the subjective measures here? So they reflect the needs and interests of a particular user. Okay, we can that what is a user need or the what user is required. That also we can take into. Okay. For example, suppose a marketing manager is only interested in characteristics of customers who shop frequently. Okay. What is that? The marketing manager is only interested in characteristics of customers who shop frequently. And based on users' belief in that data, so for example, patterns are interesting if they are unexpected or can be used for strategic planning, etc. Means like that we should think about the customers and the users a requirement. Okay, that way also we are going to consider as the these are the subjective measures here. Now objective and subjective measures needs to be combined. Okay, suppose as we are the doing the business, then our we should take care of that the combination of subjective and again the objective here. Okay, so that now the next one is that the find all the interesting patterns. Okay, that is the completeness. Means where the patterns are same. Okay, where the interesting patterns are there, that we are going to find all the interesting patterns. That is about the completeness characteristics. It may be the unrealistic and inefficient, but it may be the user provided constraints and interestingness measures should be used. And search for only interesting patterns and optimization problem. Okay, if suppose we are going to search out for the only interesting patterns, then there may be the chances of the problem, and that problem is called as the optimization. Okay, the optimization. So the meaning of the I will tell the one example of the only interesting patterns. Now suppose if you are going to write the query as car in the Google search engine, what happen? Every color of the cars it is going to display onto the result. Now suppose only I require the only red cars, means I will write their query as search out red cars only. Then I will get the only red cars. That is called as the optimization. Okay. So in that way also we can go for the search for only interesting patterns. Means it is an optimization problem. It is highly desirable. Means whatever I require the only red cars, that red cars I am going to see it. It may be the any size, it may be the any prices. I don't care about that. But I want only the red cars. Okay, that is called as the highly desirable. No need to search through the generated patterns to identify truly interesting ones. And measures can be used to rank the discovered patterns according to their interestingness. It depends on the user requirement. Just we are going to follow this interesting patterns here. Okay, that's about whether all are the patterns are the interesting or not. Means what we studied in the are all of and conditions and easily understood by humans, valid on new or test data with some degree of certainty, potentially useful, novel, validates some hypothesis. Okay, so all these points: objective measures, subjective, interesting here. Now the classification of data mining systems here. Okay, this is just we have the observe these diagrams here. So how we are going to do the classification of data mining systems here. Okay. So I just told you that just note down the diagram. The some classification of data mining systems about database technology, statistics, machine learning, other disciplines, visualization, and again the information science. This diagram already we have covered in the previous slide here. Just you can see here. See here the same diagram, that is the confluence of multiple disciplines. Okay. So here also, here we have covered. Now what is that exactly in the classification of data mining systems here? See in the database we have the relational database, data warehouse, transactional database, stream data, oriented database, relational, active database, spatial database, time series, text, multimedia, heterogeneous, legacy, world wide web. So this is about the database. And again the knowledge. So what the contents of the knowledge here? So the knowledge is that it is about the characterization, discrimination, association, classification, clustering, trend, or deviation, outlier analysis, etc. So all these points we covered in the previous slides. Just it is the type of the revision. And the techniques utilized is that the database oriented data warehouse. In case of the data warehouse, we are going to use the OLAP. So what is the OLAP here? Online analytic process. Okay, that is called as the OLAP. So in the third chapter and the fourth chapter, we are going to see the deep about OLAP, the machine learning algorithms, statistics, and again the visualization. Okay, so these techniques we are going to use in the machine in the data mining, and applications are adapted. So the applications are that the retail, telecommunication, banking, fraud analysis, biodata mining, stock market analysis, text mining, and again the web mining. So every market we can say that we are going to use the data mining system. Okay. So that this is about the database, the classification of data mining systems. Very important. Very the first of all you can see that the database knowledge and utilized, and again after that the applications of the data mining. Already all these points we covered in the previous slides. Now the next point is that the data mining task primitives. So what are the primitive tasks for the data mining? So in that we are going to learn that how to construct a data mining query. So how we are going to create the queries in the data mining here. Now the primitive allows the user to interactively communicate with the data mining system during discovery to direct the mining process or examine the findings here. Means there are many languages are available. For example, SQL language is there. By using that structure query language, you can make the queries, and that queries you can fire onto the data warehouse. So the data warehouse is responsible to give the result to the customer here. Okay. So how to construct the data mining query here. Now the primitives specify that the set of task relevant data here. Means for firing the queries, we require the relevant database. Suppose if you are having the database related to the stock exchange, then and then only we are able to fire the queries related to the stock exchange here. Otherwise, we cannot fire the queries of the stock exchange onto the history database. Like that, we cannot do this one. Means for the relevant database, we require for the our relevant queries here, which database to be used. Okay. That is the database or the data warehouse name. So, what kind of the database you are going to use, on which data warehouse you are going to fire the queries, the database tables or data warehouse cubes. Okay. The database tables means we saw that the relational database where it is going to maintain the relational database in the row wise and again in the column wise. So in the column wise attributes and again the row wise the records of the values. And the data warehouse cubes means I have shown you examples of the data warehouse cubes. Where are those that? So here you can see that the data warehouse cubes. So these are the cubes of the database. On this data warehouse cubes, we are going to fire the queries here. Okay. Now the condition for data selection. So what is the condition? What condition you are going to apply for the data selection? The condition means suppose I want the whose age is between 40 to 50. Means this is one a condition here. The relevant attributes or dimensions. So what are the relevant attributes here? Suppose the age and income. So these are the relevant attributes. Data grouping criteria. So the data grouping criteria on which characteristics we are going to group the classes, or we are going to create the clusters. That depends on the data grouping the criteria here. Okay. So the data mining task primitives are that the set of task relevant data, which portion of the database to be used. So that is the database or data warehouse name, the database tables or data warehouse cubes, condition for data selection, relevant attributes or dimensions, and data grouping criteria here. This in that way we can see the set of task relevant data here. The second primitive is that the kind of knowledge to be mined, means what kind of the knowledge you are going to explore from the data warehouse. Okay, that primitive we are going to see here. And what database functions to be performed. So the functions are to be performed are that the characterization, discrimination, association, classification and prediction, clustering, outlier analysis, and again other data mining task here. So all these concepts already we have covered in the previous slides here. So how to characterize the database, how to discriminate it, the association is nothing but it is a one relationship between the database, the classification, and again the prediction. The predictions are useful for missing the values. Okay, for missing the values you can insert the data value there. So that is about the prediction. The clustering, where the database or where the classes they are going to possess the same characters, at that time you can create the clusters here. Again the outlier analysis, so the individuals you can consider that exceptional cases. Okay, and other data mining tasks here. So all these we have considered in detail. Now the third one is that the background knowledge to be used. Okay, also we need to consider the background knowledge and what domain knowledge and concept hierarchies. Okay, so here you can see the diagram for this background knowledge. So the background knowledge that the all age persons we are going to consider here in the youth, and again the middle aged, and again the senior. So for the youth we are going to consider the range is the 20 to 39, it is called as the youth, and the middle age is the 40 to 59, and again the senior age is called as the 60 to 89 here. And this is called as the concept hierarchies. Okay. The fourth one is that the interestingness measures and thresholds. So we should identify that whether the patterns are interesting one or not. So that also we need to consider into the data mining task here. Now the fifth one is that the visualization methods. So the visualization method is that the representation of the database to the customer side. Okay, that is called as the visualization method. So what form to display the result? For example, rules, tables, charts, and again the graphs. Okay, all these are called as the visualization tools or visualization methods here. Okay. So in that way, there are total 5 data mining task primitives are there. So the first primitive is that the set of task relevant data here, and again the second one is the kind of knowledge to be mined, and again the third one is the data, that is the background knowledge to be used, and fourth one is the interestingness measures and thresholds, and fifth one is visualization methods. So in that way you can go for the data mining task primitives here. Okay. Now this is one example of the query in data mining query language. Okay, you can see the data mining query language here. So use the databases, all electronics database, and second is that the mine classification as promising customers. The next in relevance to age, income, type, place, made, branch. From customer C, item I, transaction T, where I is item ID is equal to transaction dot item underscore ID, and C dot customer underscore ID is equal to T dot customer ID, and the income is greater than or equal to 40,000, and I price is greater than or equal to 100. So group by these types of the customer ID, and having sum also we can calculate the sum here and display as rules. This in that way you can create the data mining query languages for firing the queries here. And see, this is the example that. So what is the example? The example is that mining classification rules. Suppose as a marketing manager of all electronics, you would like to classify customers based on their buying patterns. You are especially interested in those customers whose salary is no less than $40,000 and who have bought more than $1,000 worth of items. So each of which is priced at no less than $100. So in particular, you are interested in the customer's age, income, the types of items purchased, the purchase location, and where the items were made. So you would like to view the resulting classification in the form of rules. So this data mining query is expressed in DMQL as follows, where each line of the query has been enumerated to aid in our discussion. So in that way, suppose we can create the queries. Means the salary must not be less than the $40,000 and the buying worth is that from the $1,000 to $100. Okay, and we have to find the such customers. For the customers, we require all these types of the query here. So this is one example. So just you have a one look on this example query here. So why data mining query languages are there? So the query languages are formed as automated or versus a query driven. Okay. You can create the automatic, you can use the automatic queries also, and also you can create the user defined queries here. So the finding all the patterns autonomously in a database and unrealistic because of the patterns could be too many but uninteresting. So the data mining should be an interactive process. It is user directs what to be mined. So users must be provided with a set of primitives to be used to communicate with the data mining system and incorporating these primitives in a data mining query language. It is the more flexible user interaction, foundation for design of graphical user interface, and standardization of data mining industry and a practice. So the query languages are important to get the desired knowledge from the database here. Okay. So the major issues in data mining. So now we have learned. So what is the data mining? What are the applications of the data mining? What are the major sources of the database? What is the data warehouse? How the query you can create it? What is the relational database? All these types of the data mining concepts we have learned. Now we are going to see that what are the major issues in data mining here. So what are the problems are available in the data mining? Okay. Now there are major problems are available in the data mining. So the mining methodology and user interaction. So the mining methodology. So what are the algorithms are available? Okay, what are the mining methods are there? And how we are going to do the user interaction. Now the mining different kinds of knowledge. Okay. So the data mining should cover a wide spectrum of data analysis and knowledge discovery tasks. and enable to use the database in different ways require the development of numerous data mining techniques. Now here, now also you can see that many MTech students, many PhD holders, they are going to make the research on the data mining. Still, the huge development is required. Okay, because we are having the bunch of the databases, and we require the only desired desired knowledge from the database. So that's why the data mining should cover a wide spectrum of data analysis and knowledge discovery task here. The main aim of the data mining is that data analysis and knowledge discovery, that easily we can make it. Okay, that is the only aim here. And for that such facility we need to design it and enable to use the database in different ways. You should have to create the such system or the such methods. It should use the database in different ways here. Okay, and require the development of numerous data mining techniques. So we have some data mining techniques are there, but still we require the many and more development techniques in case of the data mining here. Okay, so this is the mining different kinds of the knowledge. And the second major issue is that interactive mining of knowledge at multiple levels of abstraction. So what is the this? So the difficult to know exactly what will be discovered. Okay, so it is very difficult. Suppose after firing the query, whether we will get the correct answer or not. Okay, that is very difficult with existing data mining techniques. So you should have to discover the new data mining techniques also. Okay, so it is difficult to know exactly what will be discovered. And the second one is that allow users to focus the search refined data mining requests. Okay, the third one is the incorporation of background knowledge. Okay, so how to incorporate the background knowledge here? So guide the discovery process, allow discovered patterns to be expressed in concise terms and different levels of abstraction. Okay, and the last one is the data mining query languages and ad hoc data mining. So high level query languages need to be developed. Nowadays only we are going to use the SQL query language, and it should be integrated with database or the data warehouse query language. Okay, presentation and visualization of results. So how to present and visualize the acquired result here? So it should contain the knowledge should be easily understood and directly usable to the client side. And high level languages, visual representations or other expressive forms. So it should require the data mining system to adopt the above techniques. The next major issue is that handling noisy or incomplete data. So it requires the data cleaning methods and data analysis methods that can handle the noise and incompleteness of the database here. And pattern evaluation, the interestingness problem. So how to develop the techniques to access the interestingness of discovered patterns, especially with subjective measures basis on user beliefs or expectations. Okay, that is about the pattern evaluation. And the performance issue is that efficiency and scalability. So huge amount of data. So it's the running time must be predictable and acceptable. Parallel, distributed, and incremental mining algorithms. Okay, so divide the data into partitions and processed in parallel. Incorporate database updates without having to mine the entire data again from scratch. And diversity of database types here. So what is the diversity of the database types here? So other database that contain complex data objects, multimedia data, spatial data here, etc. And expect to have different data mining systems for different kinds of data and heterogeneous databases and global information systems. That is about web mining becomes a very challenging and fast evolving field in data mining here. Means in that way we have the number of major issues in the data mining. So as a challenge you can take, I can request you all, you take one major issue as your MTech project, so that you can develop your project also, and you can make the study of the data mining a subject also here. Okay, these are the major challenges. So the major challenges are nothing but the mining different kinds of the knowledge. Again, interactive mining of knowledge at multiple levels of abstraction. Again, third one is the incorporation of background knowledge. The fourth one is the data mining query languages and ad hoc data mining. The next one, presentation and visualization of results. The next one, handling noisy or incomplete data. Next, pattern evaluation, the interestingness problem, and performance issues, and diversity of database types here. Okay, so all these are the major issues in data mining are available. Okay, in that way we have studied all the points of the first chapter here. Okay, I think we have covered the first chapter here. So today we have covered the data mining functionalities, and after that we have covered are all of the patterns interesting, and the classification of data mining systems, data mining task primitives. Okay, and example of the query in a data mining query language, and why data mining query language, and major issues in data mining. So in that way we have covered all these points of the first chapter here. Just you can see that you the assignment questions. So I have given you that assignment question. So what the answers you will write. So the assignment questions are that why data mining? Okay, this also point we have covered. What is the data mining? Second question is about what is data mining. Again, third one is list and explain basic tasks of the data mining. Fourth one, what kind of data can be mined? Fifth one, what kinds of the patterns can be mined? Sixth one, explain in detail technological support for data mining. Seventh, list and explain all the target applications of data mining. Eighth one, write short note on major issues in data mining. And the ninth one, explain KDD process in data mining. And the 10th one is differentiate between data mining and knowledge discovery in a databases. So all these answers now we are knowing this one. So now the first chapter is we have covered, so that we can go for the assignment questions. And about the MCQs, so today or tomorrow I will send you the MCQs of the first chapter along with answers also. So I will provide, and whatever all these PPTs are there, the PPTs I will give on the group, on your WhatsApp group. So I will upload it there, so you can take it from the WhatsApp group. And one more thing is that now we have covered the first chapter. So from the next week we will start our tutorial sessions. Okay, based on all these concepts, we are going to take the tutorials. Okay, very simple tutorials are there. Just I will explain in a particular our time, and we have to write the tutorials. Okay. Now, just I want to ask you that. So, is there any doubt or is there any problem in this chapter here? Hello, all. You please reply me, or just if you are having any problem or any doubt, you can ask me here. Hello all, are you there? Are you listening my lecture? Otherwise, you just give the reply in the chat box. Hello, are you there? Yes, is there any doubt or is there any problem in the first chapter? Hello, please reply in the chat box. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me here. Hello. Okay, I'm getting the reply from your side. So, if you are having any doubt, okay. So still another there are 15 minutes are there. So shall we go for the new point or we'll take a pause here? What we can do here? Shall we stop or shall we go for the next point? Hello. Shall, shall we stop here? Please reply me in the chat box. Shall we stop here? Hello. Okay, I request you all, you please drop your attendance in the chat box. So thank you for patiently listening my lecture. Stay home, stay safe.